in a world of clickbait and, there's a lot of negative stuff on social media, but also just trying to distill content down to short, sharp, messages that oftentimes they're mere seconds long. So how do you meet that challenge?
I think it's a mixture. We often talk about this, because you want to put it out in different formats. But the truth is, people do have an ear for podcasts and for long form, and we all consume that. So I don't think we don't have to just be a TikTok, do something crazy to get views. That gets us attention possibly, but I think people, when they their heart is open to it, I think they can sit with longer discussions.
Hello and welcome to The Way. I'm Wendy Grace. Well, maybe you have been tuning into items on this platform, but you're wondering, okay, what is it actually all about? What's its purpose and what is the hopes for the future of The Way? Join with me in studio to chat about some of this. I have Crysta Gunn, who's coordinator of The Way, and Father Bill Kemmy, also involved, but has been involved with media and communications and production for many years via iCatholic. So great to have you both with us. So where did the idea come about for this in the first place, Crysta?
So this was a new communications initiative that was set up by the Bishops' Conference, and it's a way for people to discover the faith and see what's going on in the church in Ireland.
This is something, Father Bill, you've been passionate about for many years. We've been working together for years through iCatholic, and even in that short space of time, 10 or so years, so much has changed in the online space, in the different platforms that are available. How does The Way kind of connect up with all of that?
Yeah, well, I think it's a great step forward from the Bishops'
Yeah.
Conference, as Crysta has said, that this is their platform. iCatholic is going to be help produce some of the content that will appear. But in some ways, it's a kind of a plan from the bishops to kind of look at how do we create content, share content, and gather it together. Because certainly there's a lot of good content now being made around the country. And it's great that we can kind of bring that together and then find a way to deliver that out to the diocese and the parishes. One of our big cliches at the moment is content is king, but distribution is queen. So I'd say one of the things we've struggled with as a church is how do we get the good news out there? How do we build an audience?
That was my next question for Chris. It's all well and good having great content and really interesting interviews, but you have to be able to push it out there. And there's so much in the online space. There's so much you're competing with, really. So how do you make sure people get to see the stuff?
Well, I think the first thing that we did was we looked this year at how people are consuming their content. So I had the opportunity this year to go out to Rome for the Jubilee of Youth, and I got to talk and engage with young people and ask them, like, how are you engaging with your faith? Are you engaging with your faith online, or is it just kind of an in-person thing in the diocese? And they all said they were consuming so much. But the feedback that we got, of course, that it was all American content. So there was a need there.
And people want more localized Irish stuff, because they're going to connect up with that more.
They do. And again, you see some dioceses are kind of engaging a little bit more. And their content is really getting out there, and young people especially. I mean, that's what we're kind of focusing on right now. But then the other thing, we've worked quite a lot this week and last month on engaging with people from the different dioceses, especially the Archdiocese of Dublin. And again, the content is just not getting out there. It's being made. So hopefully The Way is this platform that people can kind of log on to and trust. And
so is that the idea that let's say somebody from, a parish in Cork creates a really cool social media video that they can obviously put out on their own platforms, but it will also go onto The Way. So it's a meeting point, if you like, for...
Yeah, and look, there's only so many resources we had for communication. So if someone is doing something really good that everyone can use, let's get it into the middle, get it shared. That's very important. I think what we're trying to do is always be looking at how people can, discover the faith, live the faith and pass on the faith. And people feel that, people are giving the church and the gospel almost a second look. A lot of adults who are, I think there is a growing interest. But again, when they search, particularly people search online, is there something that we can offer them, or can they come across us?
I've seen it myself, even in my own parish, with when we're doing stuff for children's liturgy and like that, the videos, they're always coming from American content and have something that's more local is great. How do you then blend though, Crysta, the kind of modern way of communicating with obviously thousands of years of tradition? How do they work together? And also trying to support and encourage, you know, priests or older members of parish pastoral councils that this isn't their digital language, whereas the younger generation, it's their digital natives. It just comes naturally to them. So how do we connect the old and the new?
Yeah, the one thing I started in the job about 2 years ago, and the one thing that I've really found is that people are a lot more digitally engaged than I thought they were. I guess I wasn't giving people enough credit for it. And the other thing is people are so creative. So again, the way that we're marketing and pushing out a lot of content is on social media. And I never realized how big the Catholic Irish community was online. So I'm not worried about that side of things, to be honest with you. It's just to encourage people to be as creative as they possibly can be
And share the content as well.
and share the content. That's
Yeah.
a big
I think
struggle.
I think we're learning as well. Like there's a lot of learning, like learning on the production
Yeah.
side, what's how to make better content. But I think people are learning, like, at parish level, we really would love people to cooperate with it.
What does that mean? What do you
Well,
need?
if they can get a notice into the newsletter all the time, always kind of giving people, look, here is a place where you can get a lot of good content. We'll be kind of feeding that to people, and just even putting the QR code so people can just go straight onto it. Some people aren't familiar, but we all learn. We have to learn. So I think the parish newsletter, I always say, it's the most powerful app in the church. It's still like, analog, but people
Love to
start
read
there.
it, yeah.
They start there, and then they can kind of follow us. But then all the parishes have, websites, Facebook pages. They're very powerful, the Facebook.
So how do we then, because obviously if someone's picking up a parish newsletter and they're seeing this, they are someone who's attending church,
Sure.
what about the audience we're trying to reach of particularly young people or lapsed Catholics who need to be reached in a kind of organic way on social media? How do we connect with them?
Well, I guess our Instagram page is growing bigger and bigger every day. We launched it just before the Jubilee of Youth, and the engagement with it out there, it had more and more followers as we went. And I think during the year, as we go to more events at a local level as well, we'll grow our audience, we'll promote ourselves a little bit more, and people will be more engaged with it. I think once you go to an event, for example, the Dare to Hope event or the Christ the King event in the Archdiocese of Dublin, and you see the way there, it's very easy to kind of click on and go, oh, I'd love to relive that event, or I'd love to hear that speech or that talk one more time. And again, that's how we're growing our audience.
One of the videos we put up about Pope Leo, a little clip of a beautiful speech he gave to young people, and that's been viewed 450,000 times on Instagram. There were 50,000 likes. Most of our followers, with over 10,000 followers on Instagram now, that most of that came from that particular post. So we want to do more, find out what is effective and build up our networks, because we have a lot of people connected to the church through schools, through parents, through youth groups. It's just a question of marketing well and inviting people to participate. And then once they know about us, to please share the word, to try and share it through their networks.
And finally, just to ask you, because obviously you're saying this is how we're trying to reach people, this is what we're looking for from people. But how can we take the content, because we're going to gather content, create content, but it's in a world of clickbait and,
Oh.
there's a lot of negative stuff on social media, but also just trying to distill content down to short, sharp, messages that oftentimes they're mere seconds long. So how do you meet that challenge?
I think it's a mixture. We often talk about this, because you want to put it out in different formats.
Mm.
But the truth is, people do have an ear for podcasts and for long form, and we all consume that. So I don't think we don't have to just be a TikTok, do something crazy to get views. That gets us attention possibly, but I think people, when they their heart is open to it, I think they can sit with longer discussions. And you've done some great discussions already that are on the way around faith and vocation stories. And I think once people settle in, if it's well produced, I think people will listen. But we need a mixture of everything.
Well, thank you both for joining us today. It's great to have you and great to have you with us on the way. And that now, wherever you're watching it, is the time to like the page if you haven't already and share the content as well. And also, practical thing that you can do if you are connected to a local parish, tell your local parish priest, parish secretary about it. Try to get information about the way in the newsletter. And if you have content that you want to share with us, send it on and we can see if we can put it on the platform for you as well. Thanks for being with us today.